But yeah, you have to keep pushing, keep going to build whatever you're doing because this whole thing called life is. I use these three letters. I said life is built around these three letters: B, C, and D.
Okay.
B is when you're born, D is when you die. C is the choices that you make between the beginning and the end. And whatever choice it is, it's yours. So you have to choose wisely. And that's just how I look at things in business.
Dada, thanks for coming here.
Yes, appreciate it.
We're excited that you're joining our podcast and learn more about your business.
Yeah.
Dauda owns moving company.
Yeah.
He's the perfect example of American dream. Yeah. Came from Africa, worked his butt off, and now he's running a nice company, and also people call him as he's known as Mr. President.
Yeah, that's another story for time.
Yeah, like when I first met you, I was like, "We're Mr. President." I was like, "This is like the most African thing I've heard in like a minute." I love it.
Like, respect my title, you know?
Yeah,
Because people used to struggle with my name, Dauda, right?
yeah,
And I was trying to just, while you're networking and building your brand and all that stuff, you wanted to stand out. I mean, my name is not too hard to pronounce at all, right?
correct.
But people were still struggling with it. I was like, I'm gonna make this easy. Um, just one thing led to another. I was like, okay, I'm the president of Eurmove, but president that's just tacky. But when I add Mister on it, it just flew. Oh, there you go. So
No, that's
I started making shirts with it and hats with it and all that stuff, and then I think it did well. 18 years later, people like it.
I think it's thick, like, and people are like, like because they know you, like it comes across very like smooth, very casual. It's not like they think like, oh, he's prideful or whatever. Like, no, it's seem nice.
It is. It just flows with what I'm doing, and I like it that way. And then people in my network understands that, and then they just go with it, and it works. So
And now it's part of your branding. Like
is.
now it's part of like Eurmove and Mr. President. It just go together.
Yeah, everything I have that has my name on it goes with it. So shirts, hats, accessories and things like that, and then people see that. And it's also a good selling point too, because it would break the ice sometimes when you meet a customer for the first time and they just see it like, oh, well, hello, Mr. President. Just let it flow. And so it's working.
That's good. That's
Yes,
good.
sir.
That's good. Dauda, tell us a little bit about your story, your background, when you came to America, and what inspired you to start Eurmove.
Well, I've been in Texas for 27 years now. Yeah, I moved here in 1999, right? But with Young Move, I started in 2008 because of the housing market, the crash. Um, my motivation I was laid off, and my motivation was I had a house on the
What did you do before that?
So I've done a lot of things, obviously with college, and then after I graduated, I was working for a distribution and logistics company. So we've done a lot of import, export, and things like that. But it was all affiliated with construction, like housing and all that stuff. So once the housing market dried up, everything just shut down overnight. And so the company I was working for just laid off everybody, myself included, and there was just not any severance whatsoever. You just get laid off. You, you go home, and that's it. Game over. After 10 years of working for the company.
Yeah.
But God works in mysterious ways. I was really worried when that happened, but it happened for a reason. You know, so my house was underwater. If I was to sell my house, I would bring $20,000 at closing just to sell my house. That's how bad it was. So I kept the house. I was divorced and I had two little kids to take care of. So that was my motivation. The company I was working for was selling the equipment and stuff like that. So because I was helping them liquidate it, so one of the ladies, she was like, "Well, if you want to buy this," because I told her about it, and then she said, "Well, I'll give you a chance to buy it." So I took all the money I have left and I bought it. I bought the truck.
Was it a box truck?
It was a box truck. It wasn't truck was already like 12 years old. It was an old box truck.
Okay.
I named her Betsy, and was but yeah, I was the driver. I was the mechanic. I was the salesperson. I did everything I had to do. So
How did the idea come to your mind that you want to do
but
moving?
because I was in logistics all along. But
Okay.
when it comes to moving, though, it was just a conversation with a friend who was also laid off, right?
Okay.
But he knew somebody that was in the moving business, moving homes and things like that. But even at that point, nobody was moving because nobody was buying and selling homes, right? Everything was just out there. But one conversation led to another, and I was like, well, let's give this a try. And he was my first partner. He was not a partner, he was more like a helper, right? So he would help me. He didn't want to invest his money in it because he didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't have a choice.
So you took the risk.
I took the risk. And I built with that one truck. I mean, for the beginning, it was tough because customers wouldn't pay or just you get the lowest of the low. Like really, I'm thinking about clients that are just not good for business, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and but consistency compounds. I stayed with it day in and day out. I would grab my little ones and take them to daycare like 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, so the daycare could take them to school. And I had to work, just do what I had to do. So
Right. So how did you like start? Because it was a tough season. 2008, no, you said no one was moving. There's no like companies are moving. It's like there's nothing.
no.
Like how were you able to get some client to get you started?
Well, in the beginning, I was buying ads and stuff like that from, companies. There was a company called moving.com and all these things. And these were just not good leads. But then at some point, I met someone who told me about networking because I didn't know what networking was all about. So when he told me about it, I went with him. I went one Friday, and man, I was okay until it was my time to speak. You know, it's like my heart was going to come out of my chest. I was very afraid because I was never surrounded by that many people, that many professionals. But I got up and I said something. I don't know what I said. I still can't tell it. And I sat down. But the bravest thing I did, I came back next week. I started building network connections, one after another after another. That group led to another group, led to another group. And I was building that relationship, still buying the leads and all that stuff, and then just combining the two to survive, more or less. I was in a survival mode. But I've never allowed myself to think too hard about what could go wrong. What if this doesn't work? I was like, it's all or nothing. But once I started seeing the contraction on it, it was very exciting. And then the relationships I built through the years are just priceless. So I built it from what it was to what it is now.
Yeah. When would you say after you start 2008, you're like not in like surviving mode. You're like, okay, I got this. I can like how long that took you? Year, 2 years, 3 years?
Dude, it took me at least 5 years
5 years.
because it was really bad, man. I mean, it was really bad. If you were working at that time, I mean, to get a job alone was a blessing because it didn't only affect us. So, like, as we continue to build, it took at least about 5 years when I started not only building relationship with folks, but starting to get recommendations, word of mouth, referrals, and things like that. And I start seeing that these clients are different, right? They build different. So I start, you have better clients, you tap into a better economy where you can just grow your business and afford to like, hey, have some money saved up where you can afford another truck, bring in another person. And so it took me until about like 2013, really, before I started making any noise in this business.
Okay.
I know.
So in these 5 years, you had just one truck
I had one truck.
and one employee, two employees, or just
Well,
one
yeah,
person?
one. Well, give and take based on how many people I need. Sometimes I would just hire help for a couple of days, for a week, and stuff like that. Because you always with moving. Sometimes you get the good thing about moving is the people you hire. The bad thing about moving is also the people that you hire, right? That's the thing. So when you have good quality people, You have to pay them better. You have to be able to allow them to just not only be themselves, but to understand that you can, whatever they do, you've done it before. You're capable of doing it, and they just see it through leadership. And most of my guys, that's how I kept them. But to come back to the conversation where at this point where how things were, it's just we just consistently stayed building relationships really to get us to where we are. There's no, I mean, there's no magic pill about it. Consistency compounds, and it got us this far.
That's so funny because after I graduated college, I was looking into starting my own business.
Right.
And then I decided to go in logistics. But the first business I looked into,
Mhm.
there were a recruiter trying to get me buy franchise for is it one truck, two men?
Oh, two men in a truck.
Two men in a truck.
You know, I almost bought a franchise with them.
From that?
Yeah. That was like 2013.
13 after
Yeah,
you.
2013. I mean, they were, and I went to the bank until I got the loan to buy it.
The
I
real?
was like, no. I said, I've already, there's something with your move. I'm not gonna go buy this franchise. I'm gonna just build with what I have right now and then just see where it goes. And I'm so glad I did that. You know,
Because
but
right now they're doing bad.
yeah, they're still around, but like that's the thing. They expanded too much and then they're exposed. And when you get exposed like that, mistakes start to happen. And but I wish them well. They've been around for a long time, since the '90s, and I'm sure they can figure it out. No,
For
so,
sure, for sure. No, it's definitely better experience to do something on your own. I was looking to get into franchise.
Yeah.
Hear what I would tell you. It's
Yes, sir.
some people like it's good for them to do franchise, especially when they come to a new industry.
Right.
But some others like no, it's like if he already has knowledge in the industry,
Yeah.
you don't want to keep paying that 15 or 10%
Yeah.
like royalty fees like every single month.
No, it does fit for some, like you said, it does fit for some companies and some individuals. And whatever works for you, then go for it. Franchising is actually a great concept, and it has worked for a lot of people. And but some people, it didn't pan out. It didn't work out, so they walk away from it. You lose money, and then you move on. But I
Have
think it's a
you
great concept.
did it have it ever been in your mind when before you opened
Right.
this company like that did it even cross your mind like that you have business mindset that you one day you're gonna run your own business or you always were like like my parents were employees this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life like
But I'll tell you that coming from where I'm from, I don't see people that do what I did, right? Um, because even growing up, you see your parents do a 9 to 5. That's it. Your mother stays at home, your father goes to work. Um, that's why we're closer to my mom than my dad. Not because my dad wasn't around, but his work took him away. So he would be gone for like months at a time before he comes home. So it was 7 siblings where we were just surrounded by our mother. So all the love went to her because she was there, right?
yeah
So even people coming here, all they do is just get a job, work 9 to 5, do it until they turn 65 and retire.
yeah that's a
Um,
mindset
So that was the mindset. But for me, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur, right? I think if 2008 didn't happen, because I was very comfortable where I was, right?
yeah
And I think if sometimes, oh, sometimes you don't even know what kind of potential you have until things happen, right?
circumstance
Circumstances happen. Because at that point, I was afraid. I was very scared because I wasn't used to just going out there, be vulnerable, be exposed. But again, I mean, my son just turned 18. He was a baby when I started Eurmove. So he's as old as Eurmove. They grew up together. It's the truth. Every time my son turns like a certain age, I look back, I said, oh, look at that.
Harold, it's the same.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, we were not designed to step out. You tell your parents about like starting your own business, it was like, are you sure? How are you gonna make a living?
Yeah, instead of
Right?
encouraging,
Exactly.
they were like,
Yeah, how are you gonna make a living? What if this doesn't work out? They look at every reason why it's not gonna work out. I didn't tell any one of my family members when I started Eurmove. I didn't tell nobody. because nobody knew what my circumstances were. And me being here, coming from where I'm from, like I said, even getting here at a certain age, I was like 6, 7 years behind, exposed to, like, let's say, what kids over here are exposed to, right?
Correct.
Gambia is a third world country. It is.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't have certain amenities like this place here. And I had to learn a lot of things, educate myself. I mean, I read at least about, well, two hours, obviously Audible. I read at least about 12 books a month. I stay with it every day. Every time you see me in my truck, I don't go over there just listening. I mean, I do listen to music once in a while, but I'm just trying to just educate myself and get better. And what I've learned the last, because I'm about to be 49, right? In May, I'll be 49 years old. What I've learned the last 10 years of my life, I didn't learn the first 40 years of my life. But because I understood what it would take, that knowledge is not power, it's potential power. It's only powerful when you get to use it. And once I get myself educated and understand, like, I belong in all these places, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not cocky, I'm very confident, but every room I go, I understand I belong. So I don't care who come from where. We all striving for what's best for us, our family, our children.
Yeah.
That's all we do. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at life.
Would you like think of it like, because nowadays, like a lot of people, like
Right.
my brother-in-law, he's here in town and
Right.
he's working with us, helping us
Right.
these 2 months, and all of his friends, all his groups,
Right.
because they like not right now on social media is
Right.
like they're kind of rebellion against like working for a company. They want to start their own
Same,
business.
right.
They want to do. They have their podcast, their
Yeah.
company. This.
Right.
Would you say like anyone can do what you did, or like there's like there's hard work you put in, but you think
Yeah.
there is something built inside of you that make you different?
Well, for starters, you have to believe that you're capable, right? It's easy for me to just tell you that, oh, anybody can do it. It's doable, but are you willing to, I don't know, have your truck break down in the middle of Centerville at 12 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock at night, and you're not going to have anybody come pick you up, or the mechanic's not going to come till 6 in the morning, so you have to sleep in your truck? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to leave your baby girl and then go somewhere for 3 weeks, away from your family? Are you willing to work long hours and sacrifice everything so you can give, your children the life that you only wish you dreamed of when you were a child, right? Um, my kids, they'll never understand how I grew up. They'll never get that. I tell them, I joke about it. I said, my room, the room I grew up in, it's like the size of a, I don't know, Nelson Mandela's jail cell. That wasn't a joke. It was a small space, right? And now my children live in a gated community. So how would you tell a little girl like my daughter,
Yeah, daddy.
that this is, they will never understand, and it's not for them to understand. We all have a different foundation, but like, coming back to the answer of everybody being able to do it, you can do whatever you set your mind onto, but like, there's still going to be people that are employees, there's still going to be business owners, there's still people running corporations. It all depends on what you're comfortable with, but you also have to disturb the comfort. You have to. You cannot be comfortable in your line of work all the time, because or else you're risking losing everything that you work so hard for. Now, I'm not saying not to enjoy it. I'm not saying not to just basically enjoy the benefits of the work that you put in. But yeah, you have to keep pushing, keep going to build whatever you're doing, because this whole thing called life is, I use these 3 letters. I said life is built around these 3 letters: B, C, and D.
Okay.
B is when you're born, D is when you die. C is the choices that you make between the beginning and the end. And whatever choice it is, it's yours. So you have to choose wisely. And that's just how I look at things in business.
What keep you motivated, like from day to day, like because
Right.
I know the last 18 years, like after a divorce, after a big layoff,
Yeah.
like you I'm 100% sure you have days you don't want to even leave your house.
Yeah.
You know, like it's tough.
Oh, yeah.
Like what always got you motivated? Is it your kids, your family, like you
Yeah.
know, the future? What was it?
Man, what motivated me is my biggest motivation is I don't want to go back to the position that I was in before I get to where I am right now. If you know what I mean, that I know what it was like to not have much, right?
Mm.
But also, another motivation is obviously my children, my family, the life that I can give them to be able to just provide for them so they can actually stand on my shoulders and then see a lot farther than I did. Because when I got here, there was nobody. There was no father. There was no mom. I was just me.
Yeah, and actually, you helped your family to come here. Is
Yeah,
it your brother?
yeah,
You helped to move
yeah. We
here
did.
after?
That's what we did. Is that whole thing? And then now I have. And then my one of my brothers worked for me. He drives my 18-wheeler. You
Yeah.
know, so it's all about the fact that I can put my brother through driving school, be able to just pay more, and then change his life by changing mine.
Yeah.
And you can't ask for anything better. It's I think it's the simple little things that you consistently work on. But again, I just don't want to go back to how I grew up and everything. Obviously, you don't choose where you were born or who you're related to, but you can choose to change the trajectory of your life. And when I look at my children, because I have 5 kids, right? I have a daughter in college, and I have a son who's about to graduate and go to college, and I have these 3 little ones. So I'll never be an empty nester, right? But it's okay. I enjoy that. I enjoy that life. When I get home, I see my 3-year-old get so excited to see me, like this is the first time she's ever seen me in her life.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. She's screaming like, "Daddy!" I was like, I got videos. It just gives me chills. But again, that is my motivation to give myself and my family the life that we could only dream of growing up.
That's awesome.
And I'm working on it.
Yeah. In your life, I'm pretty sure you went through a situation that they were really hurt.
Right.
You know, if it's bad breakup, if it's bad marriage, if it's a manager that put you down, if it's a friend that looked down on you. Did you like have this situation that, you know, like that's because when a situation like this happen, it's even you forgive them and you move on,
Right.
or you keep build up that bitterness in you. And for some people, that bitterness actually motivates them. For some people, slows them down. How did you function? Like, did you go through stuff like this, and how did you
Well, we all
like?
good. Yeah, that's a good man. That's a heck of a question because, like, when you can hold grudges, the reason why you cannot hold grudges, it doesn't affect that other person. It affects you.
Mm-hmm.
Quoting Nelson Mandela, he said, like, um, being holding grudges towards somebody is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't even allow myself to have a bad day. I can have a bad moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can piss me off. We argue about something, and then you say something that's really mean, and I just say I hate you, but I walked away. But I'm not going to I'll let you control how I feel about myself, right?
Correct.
You're always going to have. We all get stepped on once in a while. We always get, just upset at other people for doing us wrong. But whatever you do, you cannot allow them to get the best of you.
Mm.
And so I don't allow that kind of for starters, I don't allow myself to be in an environment like that. If I feel that this is getting funny, I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out. If we could be the best of friends, at some point, if I feel that, you know what, I don't think this is working out anymore. Because you can tell at some point, whoever your friend, it could be your own brother or your own sister that just keep treating you a certain way. You still love them, but you can love them from afar. You just don't allow them to just take your inner
Correct,
peace.
yeah. Okay.
So control your peace, Show love to the people that you feel like they deserve your love and attention, and just leave it at that. And that's just how I live my life. Everybody else have their own way of moving, but for me, um, life's too short, man. Like I said, I'm about to be 49. I don't have time to just waste.
Until now, I still struggle with even believing you're 49. They all say black don't
Great,
crack,
yeah.
It's great. Like you're in a good shape. You always like dressed up nice, clean.
Thank you.
Like every time I see you, like like different type of shoes, nice pants, like it looks nice. But
It's actually the little boy in me that does that,
that,
right? Things growing up, things that I wanted, now I can afford to. And sometimes that's what you see. Because every one of us sometimes have that little boy in you that still wish, you know,
that
that
you never grow up.
that you never grow up. But like, I mean, it's just, I mean, I guess the fact that, man, I'm just lucky, dude. That's it. I'm lucky. I'm no better than people I grew up with. I'm no better than people I came here with. I'm no better than people I meet out there. I mean, I put in work, but they say the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? I am lucky. I have good friends. I have good network. I have good partners. I mean, sometimes just God puts you in places where you never thought are possible, right? But if you have faith and if you have good friends, I mean, dude, the sky is not only the limit, it's the view. You can get this done. So that's just how I look at life now.
Have you ever thought about? I'm serious, because every time I'm around you, like I get that vibe,
Right.
and even now, like thought. Have you ever thought about like become like kind of motivational speaker
I
and
never
help
think
people?
about that.
You never thought about
No,
that?
I never think about
Oh
that.
man,
But like, you give me a mic, I can run my mouth all day long, right?
you should watch this interview after we're done, and I'm pretty sure like like that's why I'm doing this because I think stories like this it's really can like help people not just in business sometimes in life situations like it's amazing how you're like teach yourself like like I'm not gonna allow people to be better like to cause bitterness in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna allow people to cause me to feel certain way or like as you said like you can upset me for a minute but you cannot ruin my day.
Yeah.
So no, seriously, you should consider like having these kind of like motivational speaker like moments or I don't know like
Yeah.
but you should.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna believe this, but like at some point, like culturally where I'm from, we can't even look at people in the eye, right?
Mhm.
When you shake somebody's hand, it's very soft, right? You know how America over here, you shake somebody's hand, you gotta bring it all in.
Yeah,
Even women will shake your hand like, "Hey, nice to meet you."
very like
And I struggled that even when I started my business, I wouldn't look at people in the eye. I would just so all that stuff. I had to improve myself to become this person that I always felt like I am. But in regards to bring us back to the conversation of being able to, I'm not afraid of standing in front of a crowd and then talk. I'm not, but I haven't really thought about it too much about doing it because right now I guess my focus is, okay, I'm building my business. I'm maybe building my portfolio and I'm trying to see exactly how I can just give the kids a better start and just other things.
yeah.
But
No,
maybe one day, you never say
maybe,
never.
maybe like because like
Maybe I may walk out of here and then be like, you know what? Maybe he's right.
seriously I don't
Sometimes
tell
you have the light bulb moment, right?
I don't tell people this.
Yeah.
I promise. I never said it to anyone. Like, but this is the first time. Like, I was like, this guy can be like really good motivational speaker, and like there are certain people like really like it will like it's gonna prove their life. It's gonna like get them out of their place, and and it's just a moment of encounters really can like change people's
Yeah.
life.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have another conversation in a couple of years. Like, remember what you talked about?
Yeah.
Guess who's doing it?
Yeah.
I gotta go to Arizona. I got 10,000 people waiting on me. I was like, what? Where's my cut? but and but like I said, nobody knows what the future holds, right?
Yeah.
We never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So this moment is all we have, and we just enjoy the company, and then just see what's next. Life's been it's been a good run, man.
Yeah.
It's been very exciting. And I can tell you that if I wake up today and then if I should fall down and die today, I'll be happy with how my life turned out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
And my
then
mother would probably say, don't you ever say that you're gonna die. I was like, okay. Yeah.
um, going back to work, operation, business.
Right.
What do you do with the company right now? It's 18 years. Are you still hands on, or you can count on your team and you're just building the company? What do you do like
I am
day
still
to day?
present, but I have people plugged in into positions that they can run it, that I can take some time off and they will not need me. But I always want to be there. I like that because
Yeah.
it's like just this thing is my baby. But at some point, I do allow myself to just move away because these guys are good enough to be able to handle what's out there, you know.
Yeah.
But then, just like any other business, sometimes your expertise and your resources and your hands are needed to keep things a certain way. So once in a while, I have to jump in there and just get dirty a little bit.
Okay.
But
Yeah, because like I remember when we went to the baseball game, they're like, "Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to Louisiana," or was it the day after?
yeah,
You're going to Louisiana, and you're looking forward for it. I
yeah.
was like,
'Cause, yeah,
that's,
I mean, you have to because like it took us so long. I mean, I haven't taken it when I was building this like for 10, 15 years. I didn't go nowhere, right? I would take a weekend off, but that's not a vacation.
yeah,
But now I can actually leave and then go for a month and I'll be okay, right? Because I know the guys who run it and they have it.
I-
And it took me almost 18 years to get there.
yeah,
And I don't know what the future holds, but I'm happy how far we've come. And I know we're going to continue to grow little by little. You know, we own all our equipment, so we're not financing anything anymore. So,
that's good.
and you know, we have 2.5 acres of our own property where we built, where we have our storage. And then, so all these things, obviously, it took a lot of work, a lot of long nights and just movements and ups and downs. But for us to get this far, um, man, only God could write a book like this, dude.
It's amazing. It's
Yes.
amazing. And what I want to ask is, um, with with growth, what's like what's kind of like your dream? What you would like to where would you like Airmove to be in 5 years, 10 years, maybe 25 years? Are you trying to be like, you know what, I want to become nationwide moving company, or I want to be um another level, like I
Right.
want to even to be like, you know, get in logistics and start moving things overseas?
Hmm.
Like where's your vision right now, or do you have plan to do that or achieve this goal, or
Well, my because you know, obviously, the bigger you get, the more exposed you are, right? And they got so you have to be very careful where you want to go. But to answer your question about how big we want to get, um, we want to be known in a way where like the word integrity is put right next to us, right? Now, if that is just growing much bigger than what we are, I'm okay with that. But if I feel that if I continue to push growth and then forget everything about integrity and the foundation for build us to where we are, I'm comfortable where we are.
mm,
But like, I really would not mind, let's say, going to another city, like Dallas, having a branch over there, or in Austin, or just another state. Um, but again, your move will definitely continue to grow, but I wanted like a steady, solid growth, not
okay,
just too fast, too furious kind of a growth, because I don't want to be too exposed. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, it
Because right
does.
now we do go nationwide, so we travel everywhere within
Correct.
the lower 48, right? So, and then I have sister companies that I can use if I need help in certain cities and stuff like that. So how we are set up, it's working in our favor,
Yes.
right? Because every time that you expand, you go to another city or another state, you have to set up shop. You have to do all these things, and then it requires a lot of money and a lot of resources to get it up and running.
So it could be not worth it if
Yes,
it's
it
not.
might not be able, but that requires obviously a lot of funding and all this stuff. If I feel that what the money's there to do it and we can really grow that way, I wouldn't mind. I mean, we can easily grow to I mean, I could easily move to other cities in Texas, and then, but everything I can do it from here, and it's working just fine. So that's why right now, the way things are, we are growing steady, and then we are okay with how things are coming up
Yeah.
as we continue to grow.
A lot of people when they for them is to success is having successful business,
Yeah,
and you can see it like a lot of people who made good money, they end up having bad kids,
yeah,
getting divorced,
right.
losing their family, like, or some people like it could be losing their faith and like that take them away from God.
Yeah.
What would you define? Like, how would you define like success for you personally? Like after
Yeah.
you're 49,
Yeah.
almost 50.
After everything is said and done, let's say I wake up. I'm gonna use the whole analogy of because we all mortal, right?
Hmm.
If I'm dead and gone, and my children say like he was a good father, right? And he was a good man that took care of his family. I could give a shit what everybody, excuse my French, I could care what anybody else think of me. If they think I was good as a father and I was good as a husband, and like my mom said, he was a good son, at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me. That basically means I've given it my all, and I'm happy with how my life turned out. But especially my children, man. If they said I was good,
Mm.
all is well. I mean, you're a father, you know how that feels. So it's nothing better than just the joy that having your own kids brings.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's an amazing answer, by the way. I feel the same way. Like for me, like waking up every morning, motivation is building something for my kids
yeah,
that, their grandkids, great grandkids can know
yeah.
that God helped me to grow all of it. It
Oh yeah,
just,
because you
yeah.
build that form, and then obviously God gave you that strength, um, and that mindset for you to understand that. Not everybody gets that part. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are willing to sacrifice family, willing to sacrifice a lot of things for the dream, right? But how much are you willing to sacrifice? Maybe how far you willing to go? I'm not, or vice versa, right? But
Correct.
at the end of the day, you know, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them,
Hmm.
right? You can still have that limitless mindset, but you still have to understand what's valuable to you. And for me, what's valuable to me, it's family.
Yeah. Does it scare you? Because it does. I grew up in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I know what's meaning to grow up poor. I know what's meaning to grow up hungry and like, have no shelter, all of this.
Right.
Does it scare you when the kids grow up in, you said gated community, nice schools, nice outfits?
Yeah.
Does it scare you that, like this is gonna make them in a place that, they're not too much
Yeah.
like uh in touch of the rest of the world where you came from?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll never understand how I grew up, but I'll tell you this much. I don't allow my kids just to whatever they want, they get kind of a thing. You know, you have to earn your keep. You have to work. Um, like I said, my two older kids, I've been extremely fortunate with them. While I was building Eurmove, I did not give them the attention that they needed, but they turned out okay. Like I said, my daughter's in a third year university. My son, he did very well in high school with the band and all that stuff. So he's about to go to Texas State. Um, so I was extremely fortunate with them. Now the little ones, it's another story. Now, even though they are exposed to way more than I was, right? They don't know what it's like to be hungry. They don't know what it's like not to have an AC. For your baby, you have your own room, you know, you have all these tablets and everything else. But at the same time, you have to do your homework, you have to clean your room, you have to do the basics, the basic minimum to get yourself, going.
Responsibility.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to give them certain things, but I would rather for them to earn certain things than to just hand them over. And I've seen that in a lot of immigrants when their kids are when they're upset at their kids. I gave you everything, you know. They just like I gave you everything, and this is how you turn out. No, you're not supposed to give them everything.
Yeah.
It's great when they have to earn it. They have to work their way through life to just get to where they're going. Now I'm not picking on anybody's parents or what have you, but I've seen it where your child start acting up and you get so upset. The first thing that come out of your mouth is, "I gave you everything."
Mm.
Why? And
Yeah.
so, but
Tell us about a little bit because
yeah,
I think you mentioned it before, but tell us a little bit about what do you do with backpacks
yeah,
and how you take it back to
the
your
African
home
Gambia,
country,
yeah,
Africa.
yeah. I was
And
actually just there in January, and it is so rewarding, right?
okay,
So the backpack, I call it the backpacks of promise, where obviously my friends, networks like you guys give us donate backpacks, pencils, things like that, and I pay for the shipping and everything else, right? And I go and I donate it to elementary school kids that are between 5 to maybe 8-year-old kids, really young kids, and they get so excited because these are things that they're not used to having, right? Um, and it's changing their lives. They're all at school now. They don't have to worry about not having the simple things that we take for granted over here, like pencil, crayons, like, you know. So, I cannot change everybody's life, but because of those backpacks, if you can change one kid's life, that's good enough for me. Some of the things that I do when I get over there, I buy him pizza and we just have fun. And the last time I took like this, I'm doing Halloween. How do you have those bag of candies from
yeah,
Sam's Club and stuff?
yeah,
Dude, I pay extra just to put in my luggage, right? But when I took it there, each kid got like about 4 different candies from Snicker bars to like, Skittles and candies that they've never seen before. Oh, it's like I was just king of the hill that day. But I was so excited in my own selfish way. It makes me happy because I could see myself in those kids when I was that age.
yeah.
But nobody did it for me, right? So the fact that my friends here donate their resources to help me help these kids that they'll never meet probably in life means the world to me, man. It
Yeah.
does. So every year I'll keep doing that. I'll keep
And you
donating.
take your kids with you sometimes, right?
No, they go in the summer. These kids,
So,
I had to work in the summer, so they don't go. I go during the winter because like it's much more quiet for moving, so I can
yeah.
take some time off and stuff. But they go in the summer, and my oldest son this year I'm going to take him with me so we can go experience it together, because maybe he will understand it a lot more,
Damn.
than the little ones. A 3-year-old probably would be like, whatever,
I totally understand that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
because I don't know if you know the Christian Operation Kids boxes, like it's by the Samaritan Purse Christmas gifts.
Mm.
We used to get it all the way to Jordan.
Jordan, really, yeah.
And I remember the first time I opened it, I saw the Hot Wheels like cars.
It was the
I
best
was
thing
like,
ever,
oh
right?
my
Yeah,
goodness,
really.
it's definitely like it
So
was a kind
so
of
you sort of understand that experience.
it's the best thing ever. And then when I came here to America, then you go to Walmart and you see the Hot Wheels everywhere, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's
because
I'm-
it's abundance here.
yeah,
But like, sometimes things that you take for granted, I mean, somebody wish they have it, right?
yeah,
I mean, even in our relationship, let's say, how sometimes we get, or whether you get mad at your wife or she gets mad at you, and one time you couldn't wait for her to look at you. You were so excited about that. So all these things that we sort of just complain about sometimes over here, right?
Yeah.
Because we have so much. People would jump over the moon if they have half of that. So that's why that whole thing when I say I'm extremely fortunate is because the fact that I left that place,
Yeah.
that place is so small. It's Africa's smallest country. It's like a strip of land from the ocean. It's very tiny.
Mm.
And we're surrounded by another country. You can't even get out. You have to fly out. There's no drive out or nothing. You have to fly out. And then now I would actually go with my kids, walk in the front door of the US Embassy to just tell them, like, okay, these get my kids registered, they're Americans and all this stuff. So it's just, you have to live through that to understand it. And,
Yeah.
but again, it's just, God has been so good to me, bro.
Yeah.
But I also have the best friends in the world. And Houston's been home for me, like I said, 27 years. I've met some of the most wonderful people here. Um, so every time I go back, I get to retire my mother, right? I get to see my father enjoy his retirement because of the work that we put in. And even him passing, I know if there's one thing, even though I wasn't home when he passed, there's one thing that really keeps me asleep at night, knowing that even on his dying day, that he was happy. Because at some point, African fathers will tell you that they're proud of you. They don't. I don't know how they do it in the Middle East. The African fathers will never say they're proud of you. But my father stopped calling me my name and called me Eurmove. I didn't realize that until he died. That's what he meant. That he was proud of me. That I built something. That he can come and see it for himself.
Yeah.
And he saw my place before he died. Saw my warehouse and all these things, my trucks and everything. I got pictures of him standing on the trucks like he was giving the guys instructions or something. But you
It's
know,
probably like the one of the best moments of his life too.
yes, dude, I
Like
got
to
this
be
photo of me and my dad standing in front of the building with the US flag. We didn't even realize it was there, right? But I just gave him a hug. It's my favorite photo. You know, I'm just standing next to my father. And I was like, wow. And just like that, he's no longer here. You know, but it's life. You get to live a good life. And but I still have my mom. And that's why I call every day. A day would not end without me talking to my mother. Every day.
just quick call or
That's it. Hey, how you doing? Sometimes you don't have to say anything. It's a whole lot of nothing. I'll just call her and say, how you doing? Say, I'm fine. What are you up to? Nothing. I'm eating lunch. I was like, why? How come every time I call you eating lunch? I was like, well, don't worry about what I do. Just stuff like that. Just petty talk. But
yeah.
I have a good feeling one day, whether it's from her to me or me to her, that call is not going to come. And I'm afraid of it. But I try to bear it inside. I just enjoy the moments. Because I know what that lady went through to build seven of us, seven kids with barely an education, right? And like my sisters, I'm way more educated than my brothers. My sisters all went to college, got their degrees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We did what we did and then just figured this whole thing out. But like, because I feel that my mother did not have that chance. So she made sure that her daughters,
That they
yeah,
successful.
that they don't depend on whether it's a spouse or somebody else. Go fend for yourself. Go make your own way. And whoever wants to tag along with you, then they tag along. But you have to build yourself to who you are. And I'm so proud of my sisters. When I go visit them and all that stuff, they've done so well for themselves.
That's
So
awesome.
you just have to be proud of that.
Last thing I wanna
Yes, sir.
talk with is what does America mean to you?
Oh, this place, man.
Because like I can see it in your face always. Like
Yeah.
I can see like the love you have for this country, that you have this opportunity. You don't take it for granted. I can see it in you
No,
every single time.
I don't. I'm sure you heard this before. This is the greatest country on earth. People always say that. And it's, I don't even know how to describe it. But I'll tell you this. Um, Man, you know, this country is like a melting pot. People from different parts of the world came in and then built this community here, right? And it is the greatest experiment that humankind have ever created. You have to live through it to understand it. And what you appreciate appreciates in life. And I appreciate America. I appreciate the people of this place. I appreciate the culture, the environment, the friendship, everything else that builds a society like this is priceless. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this, like, you know how Obama said only his life, like only a place like this, that his life has been possible, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of the last things that Ronald Reagan said before he left office, he said, you can go to China, but you can never be a Chinaman, right? You can go to Saudi, you can never be a Saudi, right? You can go to Germany, the same thing. But anywhere in the world, you can come to America and be an American.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't ask for anything better, man. This is the greatest country in the world. And I love it, and I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for it. Awesome. I hope that answers your question, sir.
It does. It does because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I feel the same way. I've been here for 16 years. This is home for me.
Yeah.
You know, this country where I met my wife. This country where I started my business, where I study with. I like, you know, I was born in Jordan in the Middle East, but I was made here.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the
it's
thing.
just like
Same. I was born there, but I became a man here. I grew up here.
correct.
I become this person that I never thought was possible. Because where I grew up, they used to tell me that I was stupid and I was irresponsible. They would just people just because adults that just didn't do anything with their lives, they would just pick on kids because they want somebody that they. But this country made me believe that I'm none of that stuff that they were saying about me. I'm way better because you are exactly who you surround yourself with. Once I start realizing what, why don't I tag along with you, with her, the next person here? So it's just, and then that environment builds the person that you are today.
Yeah.
You know, so whether you know it or not, you feed off of the person around you, and that's I will continue to do that and take advantage of that and make sure, like, you know what, if the door's not open, I'm going to come through the window. If the window's locked, I'm going to cut through the sheetrock. I'm going to show up. And that's why I wake up 5 o'clock every morning and come out here and then work till about 6, 7 in the evening because I have to do it, not only me, but for the people coming after me. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come sit with you.
Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
very grateful. Thank
Like
you.
I'm so thankful
Yeah.
for you coming here.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I always enjoy the conversations.
Yeah.
Always take a different like direction,
Yeah.
and
It
it
does.
just always because it doesn't like just with you. It's not like just work, or it's not just business. It's always like you get emotions involved. You get your heart all, and I love that about
Yeah.
you. I love it. You
Yeah.
know, and for people doesn't know you, you're like one of the funniest people I know. Like even in serious.
Oh, my kids don't think I'm funny. They think like,
no,
they think,
yeah.
because I got dad jokes with them. They was like, Dad, that's not funny. I was like, well, you know what? Nothing's funny with you kids. But you know, it's like when you have a conversation, it's like conversation is like a destination with no end, right? You just
Yeah.
talking, you never know where it's gonna lead you. And that's all it is. We started with one thing, led to another, to another. But that's the beauty of having a chat like this.
Yeah.
And
Like I
think it
always
would-
come prepared, but
Yeah.
with you today, I was like, you know what? I shouldn't even think about it. Let just talk and like
Yeah.
I want to listen to you.
When she
But-
called me yesterday, she was like, Dowd, you think you can make it tomorrow? How long if I give you an answer? 5 seconds? 10 seconds?
Yeah.
I was like, I'll be there. That's all it is. You know,
Awesome.
I just checked because while you were talking, I was looking at my calendar. I said, you know what? I can make it. But that's all it is because the fact that I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad we had this conversation. I'm so glad you called me. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for holding it down as well.
Yeah.
And then, brother, appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Now I'll take my bottle of water.